Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be presenting a summary of my research around marijuana and what actually happens to us when we use THC. So, marijuana, also known as cannabis or pot or weed, devil's lettuce perhaps, is a psychoactive drug derived from the cannabis plant used both recreationally and medicinally. The primary active ingredient is tetrahydrocannabinol, also known as THC, which causes one to feel high, while cannabidiol, also known as CBD, offers therapeutic benefits without psychoactive effects. So when one uses marijuana recreationally, they are using a cannabis plant like sativa or indica, which has a higher concentration in THC and a lower one in CBD. And when somebody wants to reap the therapeutic benefits of marijuana, they're usually using the hemp plant, which is also a kind of cannabis plant, and that has a higher concentration of CBD. So they are able to use marijuana without feeling the psychoactive effects. Marijuana can be consumed through smoking, vaping, edibles, or extracts. It is known for altering mood, perception, and cognition, and can provide medical relief for conditions such as chronic pain and nausea. Currently, its legality varies widely, with differing regulations across various regions. And while the current discussion around marijuana can be kind of debatable and controversial, humans have actually been using the plant for over 4,000 years. It came from Central Asia, and people would use the fibers for clothing or ropes and whatnot, but many ancient tribes used it for its psychoactive effects, and it's found in a lot of ancient scriptures, so it actually has a very rich and deep history. So this is a quick overview of the THC chemical, including its chemical formula, structure, and molecular weight. And the main function of the chemical is to bind to cannabinoid receptors, which are found all around our body and have various functions, but they bind to CB1 and CB2, which are in the brain, and our central nervous system, which causes the psychoactive effects such as euphoria, altered perception, and relaxation. So this is a very condensed overview of what marijuana actually does to the brain. So as I said before, THC binds to receptors in the brain, such as the hippocampus, which affects memory and being able to remember facts or learn, and the amygdala, which ties into emotions and fear and anxiety, and this causes euphoria, altered perception, and impaired memory. And dopamine is released a lot more when on marijuana, and this is because THC inhibits the production of something called gamma, which kind of acts as a stop sign when releasing dopamine. So without this, it's a lot easier to feel happy, and this is why it enhances pleasure. And another big part of the marijuana chemical, or the THC chemical, is cognitive impact, because THC affects the prefrontal cortex, or the neocortex, which impairs decision-making and judgment. And while we're talking about THC, I think it's important to shout out CBD. And so CBD could actually counteract some of THC's effects. And it interacts with serotonin receptors, which provides anxiolytic, which is anxiety relief, and anti-inflammatory benefits. And this is because CBD binds to the CB2 receptor, which is in the nervous system and affects pain, the feeling of pain, which is why people take CBD for pain relief. So getting into some of the short-term effects, when using marijuana, you may experience altered senses, increased appetite, and this is because one of the receptors is the thalamus, which controls appetite, hormonal levels, and sexual behavior. So this is enhanced on marijuana. changes in mood, hence the hippocampus, the amygdala, impaired body movement. This is because of, the nervous system, and it affects the cerebellum, which is the center for motor control and coordination. You may experience hallucinations or delusions when taking marijuana in high doses, and you may very rarely experience psychosis. And this risk is highest with regular use of high potency of marijuana. So when a person smokes marijuana, THC quickly passes from the lungs to the bloodstream, and the blood carries the chemical to the brain and other organs throughout the body, which is why you're able to feel it a lot quicker after smoking it. But if you eat it or drink it, then you have to actually digest the chemicals, so you'll generally feel the effect after 30 minutes to an hour. And as I mentioned before, THC acts on specific brain cell receptors that ordinarily react to natural THC-like chemicals, and these natural chemicals are called endocannabinoids, and these perform functions such as sleep and memory and appetite, kind of a lot of things that I mentioned before. And these natural chemicals play a role in normal brain development and function. And when you smoke marijuana, it overactivates parts of the brain that contain the highest number of these receptors, which is what causes the high that people feel. So everything is very enhanced or lowered on marijuana. And lastly, some long-term effects of marijuana may include memory and learning. Your cognitive abilities are greatly impacted when you use marijuana because of what it does to your prefrontal cortex. Chronic use can impair short-term memory and learning abilities, potentially leading to lower educational and occupational achievement. Your attention and decision-making may be affected, which can lead to a shorter attention span, and this may impact daily function. This is why, stoners are seen to be very sluggish and lazy people. It's because their brains are very slow, and and it also may cause or make it worse. Anxiety and depression. Regular use may exacerbate anxiety and depression in some individuals, especially those with predisposed conditions. There's also an increased risk in developing psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia, particularly those with genetic vulnerability. And while marijuana affects you very much so neurologically and psychologically, you also may feel some negative physical effects, such as respiratory issues. You may experience bronchitis or other respiratory problems due to inhaling tar and other harmful substances. Yuck. Or you might feel an increased heart rate and may pose risks for individuals with heart conditions. And of course, marijuana may lead to addiction and dependency. So you might feel very irritable or sleepless and have a lot of cravings when not using it. And of course, marijuana is known as the gateway drug, so must we not forget that. And lastly, if you are a chronic user of marijuana during your adolescence or young adult years, since this is a critical period for brain development, this can have lasting effects on brain structure and function, which can potentially lead to long-term cognitive and emotional issues. So you may have a hard time well, I mentioned that, remembering things and whatnot. And there was actually a study done comparing two twins, and one smoked marijuana a lot growing up and one didn't. And the one who used marijuana recreationally, excessively, their IQ dropped or was 8 points lower than her twins. So I find that to be quite interesting. But yeah, to conclude, don't do drugs. While there are some benefits of marijuana, be safe, be smart, and yeah, have a great day. And here's my works cited. Thank you.